Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. LSU is looking towards making it official. The reports are certainly surfacing that the offensive coordinator situation is being settled. Mike Denbrock left for Notre Dame in early January, and the theory that was pretty prevalent was like, okay, they'll probably just promote Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton and then go find someone to work with the tight ends. That was what we all kind of thought. But I also gave a lot of credence to the fact that Brian Kelly's got a pretty extensive Rolodex. He's got a very attractive job here, and there's no reason why you wouldn't do some looking. And we don't know exactly what's gone on over there, but we do know that, according to reports, and 24/7 had it first, that it looks like Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton will be promoted into the roles that they filled during December into the bowl game when Mike Denbrock left, and then they'll fill in the back part of that staff with a tight end coach here in the coming days or weeks. And I think most people around here, when you hear co-coordinator, immediately think 2008 defense, right? That's the first thing that I think comes to LSU fans' mind. Never mind the fact that co-coordinators happen quite frequently, even among the elite programs in college football. Not all the time, but it's not like Les Miles had this crazy vision in 2008 to have two different guys coordinate the defense. But that was Todd Mallory and Bradley Dale Pivito, neither of which had a lot of skins on the wall as defensive coordinators previous to that, or went on to a lot of coordinating defenses after that. Bradley Dale Pivito, of course, was the head coach at Northwestern State, coached special teams at Kentucky. He's now at UTSA. Doug Mallory has not been a high-level defensive coordinator ever since. That was just a bad hire. That was a bad hire. It had very little to do, I think, with the fact that there were co-coordinators. I think that the fact that both John Chavis came in and cleaned it up pretty quick tells you what the issue was. This has nothing to do with that. I think these two guys, in their roles, have a chance to do excellent work. Joe Sloan has called plays before. He's been an offensive coordinator at Louisiana Tech. He called plays in the bowl game. And Cortez Hankton's expertise has been in the passing game. So it stands to reason that Cortez Hankton will continue to work the receivers. He developed a great wide receivers at Georgia. Obviously, the guys at LSU have been pretty good the last 2 years. We'll get to the mock draft coming up a little bit later. And I think that these roles fit pretty easily. Joe Sloan, you handle protections, the run game, and the quarterbacks. Cortez Hankton, you handle the wide receivers. Y'all use the week in conjunction to formulate a game plan while working specifically with your position group. And when we get to Saturday, Joe Sloan, you call the plays. It seems clean to me. Now, I don't think this is exactly like Steve Ensminger and Joe Brady. There was a stylistic shift that had to go on in the offense, and that's not like inside information we've gathered. Ed Ogeron said that in press conference. So did Steve Ensminger. They needed someone to come in and show them how to spread the field more effectively. Steve Ensminger came from a traditional coaching tree. I formation, tight ends, two wide receivers, play action pass, under center. That's the football that Steve Ensminger played when he was a college football player and coached in for a long time. And he evolved, and he was a bright offensive mind. There's no doubt about it. But he said to Ed Ogeron, like, we need someone to come in to teach us this stuff. And Joe Brady is 30 years younger and grew up in a shotgun, spread the field type situation, learned the screen game from Sean Payton and that well-oiled machine, and came in and he put some things in that LSU did not have. And I tell this story a lot because it was told to me by Joe Brady in one of my pregame interviews that I did in 2019. It was after the Texas game. And here's how that relationship worked, and why it's different than what Cortez Hankton and Joe Sloan will be doing. They were both in the press box, in the booth, sitting next to each other. And Joe Brady did a lot of third down install during the week and gave that side of that feedback on game day to Steve Ensminger, whose job ultimately was to call the play. And so this is how 3rd and 17 went. You'll all remember 3rd and 17 when Burrow stepped up in the pocket and hit Justin Jefferson, and he took it down the left sideline for a touchdown. Here's how that worked that day in real time. Ed Orgeron got on the headset and said, try to get a first down. That's job one. The head coach can say, hey, 3rd and 17, draw play, we're punting it. Ed Orgeron said, go for it. Okay, it's 3rd down. Joe Brady said, this is our best look right here. Steve Ensminger looked at it, said, okay. He saw that, and that play called for Clyde to run a little release out into the flat. And Steve Ensminger, aware of that, said, they're going to blitz here because this guy's aggressive, and that swing into the flat ain't getting us 17 yards. So I'm calling that play that Joe Brady just gave me, but I'm telling Burrow to keep Clyde in. They ran that. Clyde picked up the blitzer. The rest is history. I know that happened. I don't know this next part I'm going to tell you about the future because it hasn't happened yet. It's the way I feel. Cortez Hankton's going to be on the field talking to the players. He'll have his headset. He'll have an ability to speak with Joe Sloan. But Joe Sloan's going to be calling these plays. There is, in my opinion, a boss on Saturday, and that's Joe Sloan. It's not as if they're going to turn Cortez Hankton's headset off on Saturdays, but I think he's the eyes and ears on the field. He's talking to the players. He's coaching the wide receivers. And he's giving some input, which he's worked with Sloan all week on the game plan so that they can get things accomplished. Maybe there's a little bit of glorification and title there to keep Cortez Hankton happy. I don't know that. But you pay them, you elevate them, it's a promotion, and you have to have your assignments and your duties and your roles very well laid out for it to work. That whole exchange I gave you from Orgeron to Brady to Ensminger to Burrow, it sounds like a long deal. It really in real time is a 15-second, 18-second thing. But you got to know who's doing what. And Brady and Ensminger are sitting next to each other. This is going to be two guys that are split. But LSU's offense, as we've talked about a lot, is very much in a good space as far as the program goes. Your offensive line is deep and talented. You've got an old quarterback who's still got a couple of years left, who has put some really quality things together on the field and limiting playing time. The talent at wide receiver and even at running back now is really, really strong. It's not proven yet, but it's strong. And the tight end room looks to be really dynamic for the foreseeable future. And oh, by the way, you've got the number one running back, quarterback, and wide receiver committed for the next class, and Cortez Hankton and Joe Sloan had a lot to do with that. So while I have kind of been suggesting the Saints really need to bring in new blood and get some new energy in the offensive side of things for the black and gold, for LSU, I don't feel that way. I think things are in a really good place. Mike Denbrock did a great job. But I think you've got two guys who are ready to do this. One, they're proven elite-level recruiters. Two, their position groups have really excelled. And three, you saw a small sample size in the bowl game, and it looked really good. So I think this is the right move. I'm leery oftentimes of labeling hires, grand slam hire, home run hire, this and that, because let's be honest, very rarely do you hire someone who's gotten fired from their last two jobs for total incompetence. Like, generally speaking, every hire at every SEC, top-end school is someone who's young and upcoming or has got a lot of skins on the wall and is proven and may have just needed to change the scenery because their head coach got fired or something. Like, you very rarely hire someone in a really adverse situation. So you listen to local radio in College Station or Auburn or Fayetteville or Tuscaloosa when a hire is made. And generally speaking, it's going to be, wow, great hire. Look at all the great things this guy's done. And so I think that can ring hollow a lot because it's just the nature of it. But this does make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I think these guys are ready for it. And, I think if they're able to pick up that baton and keep it at a relatively steady level, no one expects you to be the number one offense in the nation and win the Heisman again next year. But if you've got a top 25 offense in college football, you score a bunch of points, like these guys could be rising stars in the profession. It's a great place to land. This is a very, very comfy place to be. Now, there's two sides of that coin. One, you hire a defensive coordinator that comes in here, in Blake Baker. Like, you fixed this thing pretty quickly. That's awesome. You came into a really bad spot where the defense was in awful shape, and you fixed it. Okay, well, that's an opportunity for you to get a lot of recognition for that. In the same way, like in a different way, the same result can be achieved if you walk into a room with a group that's played great. But you better keep it consistent. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.